Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel, and in this video we are going to create a simple Streamlit application that will help us derive some key points and insights from a podcast. Okay, so we are going to use Lex Fridman podcast. We'll take a few of his video from the podcast and that too from YouTube itself, and then we'll use a transcription model that will generate transcription from that video file, and then once we get the transcription, we'll use a large language model to derive some key points and insights from that transcription. So this is how the workflow will look like end to end, from a YouTube video to content that we can post it on LinkedIn. Okay, so we're gonna call it Lex podcast summarization or something. Okay, that's what we are going to build in this video. And we are going to use the combination of open source and closed source model in this video. And for the transcription, which is the backbone of this entire application, we are going to rely on something called Whisper Jax. Okay, I'm sure that you would have we would have worked with Whisper earlier, which is a SOTA speech to text model. Okay, and we are going to use fast Whisper Jax in this video, and then we are going to combine the Whisper Jax with Azure OpenAI. So there have been some requests from a few of my subscribers that I should also create videos using Azure OpenAI and not OpenAI, and I think that makes sense because we have to see we have to have to be very careful when we are using our private or confidential data directly when we are using OpenAI APIs, right? At least Azure OpenAI provides you some cushion there that you can use your data on inside a virtual private cloud or a VPC, right? So let's jump in, guys. So this is the channel, one of the channel, like it's called Lex Clips. This is not the main channel where Lex Fridman kind of post his podcast, or basically you will find that channel name is Lex Fridman. Okay, if you don't know Lex is a researcher at MIT, one of the most renowned faces in the AI community nowadays. And he has on his channel he has around more than I think 200, or even more than that. There are so many podcasts that he has with people like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and many others, right? So we are going to take any one of these clips. Okay, so these clips are basically derived from the main channel of Lex Fridman. Okay, where he has lengthy podcasts, like for example more than an hour or something, right? And these are the chunks of those podcasts. Okay, so Lex clips, the shorter clips, and we are going to take these clips, and first you have a transcription model that will get the transcription out of these videos, and then we will pass it to Azure OpenAI. Now this is on the source, this is the origin of the video, right, where we will take the video. Okay, and we are going to take this video. I love the conversation here where Lex is having a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg on the future of programming. So I'm going to take this around 3 minute video clip, and we are going to get a transcription, and then we feed this transcription to a large language model. In this case, we are going to use GPT 3.5 Turbo directly from Azure. Also quickly, okay. Now, if you don't want to use OpenAI APIs, if you want to use Azure OpenAI, which I think you should do it if you are working on some project, and here you have to come on Microsoft Azure, and you have to go inside Azure OpenAI. Now when I click on Azure OpenAI, I already have something here that's called AI Anytime GPT. Okay, so within this, within Azure AI services, I have created one instance here. You can see AI Anytime GPT that basically leverages all the services from OpenAI, at least if I have the access to it. Now, just for your information, that if you don't have a company domain, probably you will not get access to Azure OpenAI right now. You need a business or company domain to get access. So I have got it from my business domain from one of my venture friend, and I have got the access here. You can see AI Anytime GPT. Now, they also provide a lot of other services like cognitive service, computer vision, face API, custom vision, speech, etc., right? All within Azure AI services. But you have to go inside Azure OpenAI. You can also click on create if you want to create something here, guys. And you can create here. You can see they have pricing tier, they have name and everything, right? I'm not gonna create something. It's very simple. Cloud is easy, guys. To be honest, you ask me, cloud is easy, self-explanatory. Of course, with experience you can do a lot of things, but cloud is self-explanatory. You don't have to worry about when you are using cloud services a lot. Okay, just follow their documentation, and Microsoft documentation is top notch. Okay, now if you go inside AI Anytime GPT, let's see the overview here, the dashboard overview on AI Anytime. Now, probably when you are doing it for the first time, you will not have any model deployed. Now, as we have seen models like GPT Turbo 3.5, 3.5, then GPT-4, DaVinci 3, Code DaVinci, embeddings, etc., different models, right, within the OpenAI services. So for that, you have to go on this called go to Azure OpenAI Studio. Okay, when you click on this, I already have opened this Azure OpenAI Studio. You can see this is Azure OpenAI Studio. Now, when you click on Azure OpenAI Studio, you have to create a new deployment to deploy a model. And of course, that's going to be a default model, but you can also fine tune your model. So if you see here, I have deployed this model, GPT 3.5 model, and I have given a name called AI Anytime GPT 3.5. And you can find out the model properties here, the GPT 3.5 Turbo, model version, deployment, etc., right? All the details. Now you can also look at their playground, DALI preview. If you want to use DALI APIs for image generation, you can do that. This is pretty much same as OpenAI playground, right? Now in the models, you can see this is the model that I have access to right now, the base model, base model that I have over here. You can see Turbo. Then I have 16K as well as token there. Then I have embeddings ADA 2. You can also use ADA 002 if you want to use OpenAI embeddings to create embeddings. But why would you do it? You can go with sentence transformers for that if you want to use an open source. Now if you click on deployments, you can see this is the deployment model that I have. Okay, this is on Azure. I wanted to show you that if you want to use Azure as well, Azure OpenAI services, please go ahead and do that if you have your access. No? And this will probably come into the subscription here. You can see this is my subscription, and you have to give the subscription over there to kind of get the access, and you will get your access probably in less than 24 hours if you have a custom or a business domain. Okay, that's all on Azure, guys. Now let's move on. So this is the video that we are going to take. This is the channel. You can take any other videos from it, and I'll show you what I talk about right now. How are we gonna do it? Okay, now if you see, what are the things that we need, guys? Let's call this Lex podcast summarization or something like this. Now this is the app that we are going to build, and for that the first thing that we need a video file, right? So now this is your YT video. I'm just writing it YT clip or podcast clip or something like this. Now we cannot directly pass this to WhisperJax, Whisper, or Faster Whisper. So Whisper is the state of the art speech to text model available in open source, also available through APIs directly from OpenAI as well. But we are going to rely on the open source Whisper model. Now once they started Whisper in 2022, if I'm not wrong, or 2021 or 2, right? I forgot the exact year, when it was difficult to run it on a CPU machine. When I say difficult, it was able to generate a response. It was able to transcribe the audio, but the latency was an issue, right? If you are doing it, it used to take around 5 to 10 minutes for a 2 to 3 minutes video on the base model. So Whisper has 5 different type of models into it. Now after that, the AI community has created many other libraries on top of it, and couple of libraries that I will show you. One is called WhisperJax, which is backed by Jax as a backend engine. I will show what Jax means and how it makes your inference faster. And then they also have something called Faster Whisper as a library. Just go and search on GitHub Faster Whisper, you will get it. WhisperJax, you will get it. Faster Whisper is based on something called C Translate. and it has name called C. So C++, faster than Python, right? And that's why these libraries are now very fast to run on commodity hardware like a CPU machine as well. Okay, that's what we are gonna do. So once we have the YT clip, we will use a library called PyTube, and this will get the audio from PyTube directly. Now once we have the audio file, we'll give it to, we'll use Whisper Jacks here. We'll use Whisper Jacks, and the credit goes to the team or the individual who has created Whisper Jacks. We'll see that on GitHub repository. The huge credit to them for creating this library. Now on Whisper Jacks, and then we'll get the transcript. Now once you have the transcript, we'll use some kind of prompt template. Maybe we can use that with Langchain, etc. Prompt template, Langchain will come in play here, guys. So Langchain and transcript, and then we feed that to an LLM, which is GPT 3.5 Turbo in this case. GPT 3.5 Turbo, and then we get a LinkedIn post kind of a content or something like this, that we can post it on LinkedIn. This is how the workflow looks like, for this video, guys. So YT clip using PyTube, get the audio, use Whisper Jacks, get the transcript, combine some chains and pass it to a Turbo model and get a LinkedIn post, right? Something like this. Okay, this is your output. So this is the output we are expecting. Okay, so now what are the things that we going to focus on this, guys? The first is PyTube. I will not write any code on PyTube because I have many videos previously where I have used PyTube. I will take the code from my GitHub repository on PyTube. Now after PyTube, we'll use something called Whisper Jacks, and we'll use then Langchain and an LLM, and that's again combined, right? So prompt template plus LLM model. Okay, this is what we are going to do in this video, guys. So let's start writing some code. And before, just let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you something called Whisper Jacks. Whisper Jacks is developed or created, I'll say created by Sanchit Gandhi. You can see it has around 3.1k stars on GitHub, and the good thing is Apache 2.0 license. You can at least use it for research commercial purposes. And you can see it says contains optimized Jacks code for Whisper model. Okay, largely built on the Hugging Face compared to Python. Whisper Jacks runs over 70 times faster, making it the fastest Whisper implementation ever. Runs across CPUs, GPUs, TPUs. So even on community hardware like a CPU or a single consumer GPU, you will be able to run and make inference with Whisper Jacks. You can see on a TPU like a machine, it takes 30 minutes of audio in 30 seconds, which is amazing, guys, right? If you want to modernize your contact center, one of the use case. I'll also talk about few use cases. You can use Whisper Jacks for it. Now let's jump in. You can find out all the codes over here. I'm not gonna go into detail on this right now, but I'll give the link in the description, Whisper Jacks repository as well. Now what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna open my AI anytime GitHub. I'll just open my GitHub. I don't know why I was writing for my own. Just hold on. Okay, I'll go to any of this video. Okay, where I have used maybe this one, where I have used PyTube, which is a Python library for YouTube video. You can do anything with that. Okay, and I'm gonna use this. You can see it, save video and save audio. I'm gonna use this file, guys, save video function, guys, save video and save audio. So let's jump in now. Let's write some code. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go inside this Whisper Jacks LLM, open in terminal. I have my environment called Langchain. So I'm gonna go inside my Langchain environment, and within this environment, now what I'm gonna do here is let me just open this in VS Code for now. So I'm gonna just open code dot, and then I'll just write here app.py. So let me just do that. So app.py. Now within this app.py file, now what I'm going to do here, let's write some code here. So import streamlit as st, and from PyTube import YouTube. That's it. From pathlib import path, And what else we need? Let's import OS first, and then import shutil, and then whisper jax. So what I'm going to do here is whisper jax. From whisper jax import flex whisper pipeline. I just need whisper pipeline, and then I'm gonna do is import jax.numpy. So jax.numpy as jnp or something like that, okay, for now. And then let's import OpenAI. Let's see if or let's import OpenAI. We can also get it from Langchain. So from Langchain import, I'm gonna use prompt template. We'll write some prompt, LLM chain or something like this. Okay, LLM chain. And from Langchain dot LLMs import Azure OpenAI. So let's import Azure OpenAI. We are done with our imports, guys. Now you can ask a question that, hey, we were just importing, but have you installed it? So here is the requirement txt. Now you can see that we need JAX CPU. I'm okay with JAX CPU. If you have a GPU machine, that's even better, right? Even faster. And then we are building it from GitHub. You can build it from GitHub itself, from that repository. And then you have PyTU, cached property, tick token for some tokens with OpenAI, and then Langchain for all the heavy lifting that we do. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm not gonna create a .env file, because I have to then again create a new environment outside this Langchain and then set the OpenAI key. I'll just copy paste. So excuse me, I'll just copy paste that from here, because probably I will delete that all the thingy, and I'll just copy and I'll paste it over here. Now these are my OpenAI API keys. So you have to set a key. You have a base. Base is nothing but the endpoint that you create where you on Azure OpenAI, and then you have OpenAI type. I'm using Azure. If you are using OpenAI, you can just write OpenAI there, and API version, and then just getting like this. Now we are done with this. So we're gonna write a prompt template, guys. So I'm writing on a simple prompt template and see if that makes any sense. So let's write a prompt template in this stock string, and in this I'm gonna write something like this. Okay, I want you to act as assigning a role to a language model. That's what I'm defining in this template. So prompt engineering is also a good skill to have, I will say, when you are interacting with a natural language system. And I think it's important to know different type of prompting techniques, like zero sort, few sort, chain of thoughts, conversational, etc., etc. Okay, I want you to act as a digital marketing expert. Now this is what I'm gonna say here. Okay, now I'm saying that, okay, GPT model, you are now a digital marketing expert. Based on the transcription, you write a LinkedIn post or something like that, okay, in bullet point or something. We'll see that. So I wanted to act as a digital marketing expert. Write a content for LinkedIn post or something. Okay, LinkedIn post with key findings and pointers from the context, something like this. And I'm gonna do /n here, guys. And my context, I'll define a context here. My context will be context, your knowledge base, by the way. That's what context is, and that's it. I think we are okay with it, guys. So let me just, that's it. So this is simple prompt. Okay, of course you can make changes, you can play around it. Now I'm just going to write a variable called prompt, and I'm going to use Langchain prompt template function that we have imported on top, and prompt template, and within this I'm going to write input variables, and my input variables are nothing but, in this case, it's only context. If you are implementing other use cases, like for example that contains some questions, then you can also have context/question. Now you can find it on documentation as well. So input variables, and then we have template here, guys. So template is nothing but the prompt template. You can see the suggestion there, that prompt template that we have defined on top. That's it. Now we are okay with the Langchain prompt template that we have used. Now let's come here and copy this couple of functions as it is. I'll give the link in the description. You see food recipe generator using Whisper and GPT-3. So I'm taking the code, from a lot of videos that I have created earlier, and I have used the same function. So I'm not going to write that to save some time. So what I'm doing here, I can explain that function a bit. So we are having save video, which takes URL, the input URL from that Lex podcast, and then we also have a file path name, okay, the video file name, because you have to save that video, within a directory. Then I'm using a YouTube object, creating a YouTube object. I'm using YouTube function from PyTube, passing that URL, getting the highest resolution possible, and returning the video file name because we have to show the video preview on the UI. Now, what I'm also doing is I'm also saying, okay, save audio. Okay, so you can see save audio. So only getting the audio out of it. So YT, YouTube URL, you can see getting the URL, and I'm only saying, okay, stream that and only get the audio out of it. So only audio equals to true. That's what we are doing inside this function, guys. And we are saving it, have some try except to handle the OS error, and just returning the title, audio file name, and video file name. That's it. That's what this function does. Pretty much self-explanatory function. And this is not a PyTube video, so I'm just ignoring this explanation right now. So you have save video, save audio. This function save the video in your folder, and this function save the audio in your folder. That's what it does. Okay. Now we have this. Now let's move on and write the code for. Let's write the code for. Now let's write the code for, guys, Whisper Jax that we are going to use for transcription. So first we have to load the model, Whisper Jax model, and then we will pass our audio to that loaded model, and then we'll generate the transcript. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first write a decorator that will cache that. It's not going to load every time in that runtime when we are running a Streamlit function, right, function or the app, right? Cache resource. Now there are cache resource and there are cache data. If you want to cache the data, like if you are uploading CSVs or JSONs or anything like that within the runtime, you don't have to run that function again and again. You just cache that in memory there. Okay. So cache resource, and what I'm going to do here is define load model. Let's write the model, guys, code here, guys. So load model, and here I'm going to use a pipeline. So let's call it pipeline. And I'm going to use Flax Whisper pipeline that we have imported on top. And within that, I'm going to use this model. So OpenAI, and I'm going to use Whisper base. So I'm going to use the base model. There are 5 different type of model: tiny, base, small, medium, large, or I think it's large or long or something, in Whisper. Okay, so it depends which model you want. I'm okay with Whisper base here, guys. So I'm just gonna use pipeline equal to Flax Whisper pipeline OpenAI Whisper base. If you want to use small, just pass Whisper small. If you want to use medium, you just say Whisper medium. You want to use Whisper tiny or something, you just do that. Okay, so pipeline is okay, and then return the pipeline. As simple as that. Now we have our model loaded here, guys. Now what I'm going to write here is the transcription file function. So let's write transcription or something like that. Okay, so define transcription, and within a transcription we're going to pass audio file. So let's call this audio file for now, and within this audio file what I'm going to do here is model. This take my load model. So let me just call this model equals to load model, and my outputs are nothing but I'm going to pass my file inside it. So audio underscore file, and then a comma, and you can pass task. Now Whisper also does a lot of other things, like it can also translate from one language to other language, the transcription that you are getting, it can also do that. It can also transcribe, as we are going to perform in this task, right? So it does transcription, it does translation, it also does a few of other things like speaker detection and all. It can do that. So for this I'm gonna use task as transcribe. So let's do that. So transcribe, and after that, now you can also use a parameter called return timestamps, and I'm just writing true for now. So if you want to extend this code for other use cases like contact center or call center modernization, if you're working in IT company, if you want to modernize the contact center or call center, if you have some use cases on ticketing systems, L1 L2 tickets, feedback, customer executive, something like anything like that, okay, then you will need the timestamps to differentiate the speakers, and then derive some insights, right? So it's better to return the timestamps. Okay, so return timestamps equals to true. Now I'm okay with it, just return the output. That's it. We are done with our transcription, guys. Few lines of code, right? That's what high level API the function does. Now we have load model and transcription. Now we are okay with it. Let's write the function for our LLM pipeline. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just write LLM pipeline, a function to work with Azure, and Azure OpenAI is the first thing I'm going to do. LLM equal Azure OpenAI. Inside this, let's pass all the hyperparameters. Now the first thing is my deployment name. So let's do that. So deployment, okay, I hope I spelled it right. Deployment name, and my deployment name is nothing but AI anytime and GPT-3. Let me check that once. You will get it from Azure, guys. What was that? GPT-3.5. Okay, so GPT and 3.5. So this is my deployment name. Okay, now the next thing is model name. Which model I want to use? So I'm going to use model name, and I'm going to rely on GPT 3.5. So this is how you write, by the way, turbo or something that we are using here. Okay, GPT 3.5 turbo, and then we have temperature, and temperature, let's make it a little more creative. So I'm going to call it 0.7, and then let's have a max tokens. Let's call it 1000 for now. Okay, like, okay, I need 1000 max new tokens. Okay, this is we are done with LLM also. So what we are doing here, we are using Azure OpenAI function from Langchain that works with Azure OpenAI integration, and then we have deployment name. So I'm using the default AI anytime GPT 3.5 that I've created. I deploy the model on my Azure OpenAI Studio, and then I have model name, which is GPT 3.5 turbo. Temperature equals to 0.7 and max token 1000. You can put other parameters like penalties and all. I'm not doing that. Maybe you can do it, and then return LLM. We are done with our function, guys. Okay, so we also written this. Now let's write some Streamlit code. The first thing I always do, I need a white layout for this. So Streamlit layout equals white or something like this. Okay, layout equals white, and let's write a main function. So define main, and within this I'm gonna just write pass for now, and here if name main run main. Okay, cool. Now let's go to our GitHub again and take some Streamlit code from any one of the GitHub repository, right? That's the headers, guys. So what I'm gonna do here, which we can take, maybe search your PDF or something. Okay, let me see. So I just want to take few headers or something like that. Okay, this does not contain that. Maybe then this will contain chat with PDF chatbot. So let's use this. So I'm gonna use this here, and I'm gonna chatbot app.py, and here I'm gonna use this. This is what I need. So let's have this, guys. So I'm just gonna control, and after pass I'll just paste here. Okay, there are some issues with indentation. Let's do an Alt G, and now we will not call it chat with PDF. Let's call it Lex podcast summarization or something like this. Lex podcast summarization. Now this is what I'm gonna call it, the app name, and built by built by Whisperjax, and what was that? Whisperjax and Azure OpenAI. This is what I'm writing. This is okay. It's not upload your PDF. Let's call it enter clip URL, enter the clip URL or something like this. Enter clip URL. That's it. And this looks nice. Let's make this white, guys. So I'm gonna make it white. Let's make this white as well. And make this green here. Yeah, red is something green. Now we are okay with it. Now what I'm gonna do here in this case is let's have an URL. So URL is nothing but, let's call this htdoc.text input, and we need a text input where the end user can input their URL. So I'm just gonna call it enter URL of YouTube video or something like this. Okay, YouTube video, something like this. And now it's pretty much straightforward. If URL is not none, and you can also check the length of that, you can do it. If ht.button, let's have a button. Inside this button I'm gonna call it submit, and in the submit here we'll divide this in few columns here, guys. So column 1, column 2, column 3, let's call it ht.columns, and within this column we're gonna write inside a list, give equal distribution, height and width, everything within this. Now this basically write my code for columns. Now we just have to use the function here, guys. So let's use that function. Now what I'm going to do here is the first column. So let's write with column 1. So with column 1, I'm writing with column 1. What I'm going to do, write a subheader or something, video preview. So let's do that. So video preview, and in HTML subheader video preview, and then I have video title. We have to call that function. So video title, and then what was that? There was 3 parameters, 3 return. Okay, refer, fine. So video title, audio file name, and then we have the video file name. So let's use that video file name, and then I'm gonna use save audio function that we're gonna call it, and I'm passing my URL here. That's it, video file, and let's preview the video. So I'm gonna do ht.video, and inside this I'm gonna preview with video file name. So the function 1 is done, column 1 is done. So in column 1, what we are doing, we are just previewing the video, so user can see which video that they have uploaded. Now with call to, we're gonna write again a subheader. So I'm not gonna write that, I'll just copy it quickly. ht dot something like this, hit enter. ht dot subheader video preview, and then in the column 2, let's call the transcript file. So let me call it transcript result, and in transcript result I'm gonna use the transcription functions, and in transcription function I'm gonna pass audio file name that we have called on top. So audio file name, excuse me, that's it. Now this get the transcription. So let me just do ht.success and show the transcription result. Now let's come to column 3, so last column, and in column 3 we are gonna use again our Langchain chains and thingy and all those things. So in this video preview, what I'm gonna do here is LinkedIn post content, something like this. Okay, LinkedIn post content, and then we have transcript result. So let me call it transcript result, and then you're gonna use that function. We have this transcript result, right? So let's call it transcript, LinkedIn transcript text or something, and then I'm gonna use transcript result, this is transcription. So transcription result, and we only need the text of the transcription, that's it. So this is okay, and now we can pass this. So let's call the function, the LLM pipeline function. So you can see we have a function called LLM pipeline. So I'm just gonna call this function here, guys. So LLM pipeline, and I'm just gonna assign it to a variable called LLM, so I can use it in a Langchain chain. So let's call it a chain 1, and use LLM chain here, the first one, and within this LLM chain I'm gonna pass LLM equals LLM, and my prompt equals prompt, the prompt that we have defined right on top. So prompt equals prompt. Now this prompt is nothing but, if you see here, this is the, I'll just show you, this is the prompt that we have here. You can see the prompt which take our context prompt template, right, and context. So this is what we're gonna pass it over here. Okay, templates, prompt template. So let's do that and pass prompt equals prompt. Now we are okay with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a variable called result, which is gonna be last variable, and then I'm just gonna run this chain 1, and we have to pass the transcript text. You can see the transcription text, so which is not transcription text, which is transcript text. So let's pass this transcript text and let's print this. So ht.write result, and then I also need, let's see that ht.write what we get. Okay, so now we have written the code for this Lex podcast summarization. You can see this is the Streamlit piece of code for Streamlit app. We're having three columns: column 1, column 2, 3. Column 1 we are previewing the video. Column 2, oh again, it's not a video preview, it's transcript or something. We can write transcript below. So in column 2 we are showing the transcript using faster whisper, whisper jacks, my bad, whisper jacks, but you can also use faster whisper as well, if you want to use. So whisper jacks, and in column 3 we are using Azure OpenAI through a Langchain chain to get the post content that we can post it on LinkedIn or somewhere. That's how we have defined the prompt template as well. So if you see the prompt template, you can see it over here. This is how we have defined. I want you to act as a digital marketing expert, write a content for LinkedIn post with key findings and pointers from the context. Now we are passing this in the prompt template function, and then we have couple of functions for YouTube video, like save video preview and get the audio out of it. Then we are loading the model for whisper base using a flex whisper pipeline, and then we are getting a transcription out of it through task equals to transcribe, passing that audio file for the transcription, getting the transcription output. And then we have a LLM pipeline function where we are using Langchain Azure OpenAI, defining the model parameters, etc. And then we have our Streamlit code. Now what I'm going to do, let's run this and see what we get it from this, guys. So let's open this terminal here, guys, and in this terminal I'm gonna just do Streamlit or something like that. Streamlit run app.py. That's how we run a Streamlit file, right? Streamlit run app.py, and you can run this. It will automatically open a new tab in your default browser and on port 8501. Okay, so let's run this and see what we get. Now once I run this, now you can see it says Lex podcast summarization, enter the clip URL, built using whisper jacks and Azure OpenAI. Let's take this Mark Zuckerberg video here. Okay, so this is the video that we're going to take. You can see. This is a very good video, and I think if you guys are not watching Lex podcast, I'll recommend Lex Fridman podcast to all of you. You should watch Lex Fridman podcast. He has great people coming on his podcast, and I really love listening to those podcasts and get their perspective on different things about life, humanity, technology, etc. Right, and it's fantastic. Now I'm going to take this URL from here. You just have to take YouTube video URL and you just have to click on submit. Now once you click on submit, you see it says running here, and on video preview it will probably show you the video once it gets the video out there using PyTube. We are using PyTube to work with YouTube video. It will take little time because it has to do a lot of pre-processing. You can see the video over here. It says transcript below, running load model. So you got your video here. You can see the same video that we are seeing here. Okay, on Lex clip, and here we have our transcript below, which has appeared the header, and it's running here. You can see it's running. You can also put a loader or slider or something like that. I think you can put a progress loader there on Streamlit. Okay, they provide, and you can do that, and you can run that function within that loader. Once it gets completed, it will show here. Okay, now on column 2, at the middle column, we are going to get the transcription, and in the last column we'll probably get the insights or the post that we are looking at, the LinkedIn post, right? And this transcription will take little time, guys. So what I'm going to do here is, let me also show you what I'm talking when it comes to faster whisper. So you can look at faster whisper as well, guys. So faster whisper is C translate. Okay. Faster whisper transcription with C translate too. So if you don't want to use whisper jacks, or if you are facing any challenges with whisper jacks, faster whisper is also a very good alternative. It says faster whisper is a re-implementation of OpenAI's whisper model using C translate 2, which is a fast inference engine for transformer models. So we saw C transformers recently where we loaded our GZML model within C transformers. When it comes to large language model, they also have C translate for this kind of translation models, okay, and mainly on top of transformers. the implementation is up to 4 times faster, and the efficiency can be further improved with 8-bit quantization. With if you want to use on top of it, if you have our own Whisper model, you can quantize those, right? And with 8-bit quantization, it can run even faster on both CPUs and GPUs. So you can also use this model, faster Whisper. You can use it as a backend engine. They use C translate too, and as I said, I'm using Whisper Jax. You can also do that. Okay, let me just minimize this, and here we go. You can see it, fantastic. We got our response, guys. Fantastic response, right? And now you can see the transcript below. This is the transcript that we have got. Let me first show you the transcript. Let me make it a little bigger so you can see. You can see this is the transcript. Just like Google search, the addition of language model are like fantastic, right? And till here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Till this text, you can see. Again, I think it's till over here, right? Till this chunks text, you get T5U. Okay. Till here, you get the text, and after that, you get the text with the timestamp in a chunks, different chunk. Okay, and you can see here the LinkedIn post over here with the Langchain, and let me just minimize a bit so you can see that this is the LinkedIn post content. Language models have made coding easier. Key findings from that post: language models have made coding easier. It's not just about specific coding. That's what they're talking in that video, right? But also the libraries and dependencies that language models can help with. Tools that can summarize the knowledge base and help people navigate internal information are being developed. So you got key findings, pointers, keep up with the latest technology and tools that can help you in your job. This is how you can write it. For example, if I open my LinkedIn and if I just post it that this is what my finding is, so you can do that. So let me just do it. Okay. Now here in post, I can just write. Let me just click on anyone. Below is the result by a GPT 3.5 model on the Lex podcast with Mark Zuckerberg. Something like this. What I can just do, I can just copy this key findings and pointers, something like this. Okay. Now I'll just paste it over here. Key findings and then the pointers, and you can just write it down. You can give some space after this, and after this as well, the key findings, and you can again write in 1, 2, or 3, something like that. You can want to give bullet point. You can use LinkedIn Formatter, there's a tool to format LinkedIn content. You can do that, and something like this, right? And so let's see that. Let me just give some number, or maybe I can post this. Of course, I think I will post this. This looks nice. 5. I'm gonna call it 6. 7 pointer. Now you can see, right? Language models have made coding easier. That's the first thing that they are discussing in the video. It's not just about the specific coding, but also the libraries and dependencies that language models can help with. Tools that can summarize the knowledge base and help people navigate internal information are being developed. Language models can understand the best libraries to do a particular task and pull them in automatically, making coding more efficient. It's still valuable to learn basic skills like cooking, driving, a little bit of programming. This is fantastic, right? And this is the top pointers. Maybe you can call it suggestions now, for example. Suggestions from the suggestion derived from the podcast, something like this. Keep up the latest technology and tools that can help you in your job. Let me just call it 1. Keep up the latest and don't rely on AI models for coding. Use your own creativity, and I agree with that. A lot of models right now struggle with coding problems because it's not that easy, guys. When it comes to coding problems, if you see human eval score, it's not that good for most of the models except GPT-4, and I think they are also in controversy nowadays because the performance had drastically decreased. Now if you can see, it says keep up with the latest technology and tools that can help you in your job. Don't rely solely on AI models for coding and other tasks. Use your own creativity and thinking to come up with the new ideas and solutions. Continue to learn basic skills and don't rely solely on technology to do everything for you. Combine with your skills and knowledge with technology to come up with the new and innovative solution. Fantastic, right? This can be suggestions and this can be key findings or key talking points. You know, key, or I'll just write discussion points. So we have to change the prompt now in the prompt template. Discussion points in the podcast. Now this is what I can just write. I can give a video source that okay, this is the clip that we have taken. This is the clip we have taken. Below is the result by a GPT-3 model on the Lex podcast, and you can just find it out. This is fantastic, right? And you can just use the hashtags and all, and you can just post it. I will literally post it after this video. Below is the result by a GPT. This is what wanted to create in this video. You can play around with. You can improve the prompt here. You can improve the prompt techniques, prompt template. You can create better, prompt, custom prompt there, and you can feed it to model, and you can see how fast we got a transcript result. I was just explaining faster whisper, and you got the result for both, right? Transcript and LinkedIn post, and this is fantastic. This is helping you. You can also stream the responses if you want. You can just, and you can also do ht.code here. So let me just show. If you want to have a copy to clipboard option, you can basically print that in ht.code result. So this will give you a copy to clipboard option on the Streamlit UI. So you can just copy the content and paste it on LinkedIn or Twitter or anywhere you want. Twitter will probably give you character limits because that's too big for Twitter. It's a LinkedIn post content that we generated. So what we did in this video, guys, we have YouTube video. You are giving your YouTube video here. It's getting the transcript using Whisper Jax, which is extremely faster, 70 times faster than normal Whisper inference. And then we feeding it to a large language model, which is Azure GPT 3.5 in this case. You can see it over here. You can deploy it on Microsoft Azure, and you can just use the same way that I have shown in this video whenever writing the code, right? How you can use it. And this is the post content in key findings and pointers, something like that. Okay, this is interesting. It's used. You can control the maximum tokens limit. You can also look at better output parsing in Langchain, and you can play around it. It depends what use case that we are trying to solve, but this is great. This is what I wanted to do. And also you can I recommend to watch this Lex Fridman podcast. If you don't watch yet, please go and start watching his podcast. You will learn a lot. And if you have any thought or feedback on the content that I'm creating, please let me know. You can also reach out to me through my social media channels. You will get that on the YouTube banner if you want to reach out to me. And I'm also working on few other videos, like I'm working on Llama deployment on AWS SageMaker. That video will also be released soon. I'll post that video soon. And thank you so much for all the support and love on the Llama 2 medical chatbot video that I have posted I think a week ago. Thank you so much for showing all the love on that video, guys. That was really helpful. And if you are facing any challenges, please reach out to me. I'll try to help you debug all of your I'll help you debug it and solve your problems or challenges when it comes to AI and machine learning. I think that's all for this video, guys. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, do subscribe the channel and share the video with your friends and to your peer. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.